Hi, have you subscribed? Thank you. If you haven't, please subscribe. I wanted to touch on the whole Sonko interview with Hussein again, and this is purely from the mind of a person who does not understand the art of spurring when you are being interviewed. Whenever I speak to a person who seeks me out because they're going for political office and they want to know how does this game work, I'm always very clear. All journalists come to the table with an agenda. The question is, do you have an agenda? And Hussein had an agenda, and Mike Sonko had an agenda. And what Mike Sonko did is worked his agenda. But I find it very interesting that more often than not, very few people possess the skills of Hussein, who I hope Royal Media is going to give hardship allowance and psychological treatment for, or who come to the table with a clarity of their messaging that they will not deviate from, like Sonko. The other person, and I'll just mention too, that I find interesting when I did have the chance to interview politicians, and these are people who come with an agenda and they're very good at deflecting and going in their own direction until they come back to what they want. One is Kalonzo Musyoka. And I like him because he's subtle. While, Sonko is brute force, Kalonzo's very subtle. I remember once, starting off, because you know me, when I do interviews, I have no preamble, I just go to it. Let's get on with it. What are we doing? And you'll ask him a direct question. I will never forget, he answered my question with the words, Caroline, it's a beautiful day that the Lord has made. And I was sitting there thinking, you don't know me. I'm going to stay here and go back to the question. The other person who, if he's not having an emotional exchange, is very clear about the agenda, is William Ruto. He is great sport. If you know your job, if you don't know your job, William will dust the floor with you and then he'll leave because he's like, but what are you doing? And I think for all of us, as we begin to watch the politicians do their pieces, whether you listen to them on a radio station, you watch them on a digital platform, or you watch them being interviewed, check who is clear about their agenda. Because there are also nutcases who come without an agenda, and they allow the agenda to be set for them by the journalist, by the interviewer, and those people by and large end up losing it. And then there's also the lunatics who think their agenda is larger than life and they do not pay homage to the sport, because it is a sport, you're spurring. So if I was to rank politicians who understand the sport, William Ruto, watch him, very sharp, knows a little bit more than you thought he would know about something. Moses Kuria, you don't see him coming. You just don't see him coming. And the thing about Moses Kuria is that he has the same advantage as Mike Sonko has. You tend to underestimate him because you think, he's brute force, he's vulgar, he's too brass knuckle, and that's where you go wrong. Kalonzo Musyoka, but I think the really good master of the game is still Raila Odinga. Still Raila Odinga. So just something for you to watch, okay? Subscribe. We'll talk about other things in a moment.